Hello, this is Cool Hand Mike. In this tutorial, we are going to show you how to recreate a inventory screen using Lua. First, we are going to capture a screenshot of the inventory screen with all of the items unlocked. Go to File, Screenshot, and Screenshot. This will save a file in the folder of the emulator and the screenshots. Once you have this file, you will want to open it up in a image editing software. We are going to use GIMP. GIMP is free and on multiple systems. My preferences for GIMP are to have the light theme and the legacy icon theme to make it a little easier to see the items. So we are going to drag and drop the screenshot that we just got into GIMP. We are going to zoom in a little. Now, once we have this screenshot in here, we are going to want this to be empty. We're going to empty all the items because the idea is that with Lua, we are going to check to see if it is unlocked and then display it only when it's unlocked in the game. So this screen will be empty and each of these will display only when it's unlocked. So to do this easily, I recommend the rectangle tool. And we are going to go down right here at the bottom and select here. We're going to select the fill tool. It's a bucket fill tool. We have the black color selected. So if you just click, it removes it. Very nice. We're going to do the same for the items down here. Bucket fill tool. And we're going to select the magnifying glass. And rectangle. Bucket fill tool. Okay. And we're going to go down here and zoom out a little because we just want this empty screen here for now. And to do that, we are going to select the inventory screen by itself and right-click, image, and crop to selection. Let's take a look to see if all the edges are selected properly, and it looks like they are. File, export as empty inventory. Default selections are good. Enter. Now we're going to Control Z a couple times. Get all these items back. And I'm not going to do all of these here for the video, but I'll show you how to go through and select these. You want to use the zoom tool to make sure that you're able to make these selections as close as possible. All right, you want to get the shadow too. Then you'd right click again, image, crop to selection, file, export as, shield. And the idea is that while you're going through and saving these, you want to make it as uniform as possible. When you're going through and selecting these items, make sure that when you select, You're kind of selecting around the same height and width. So it makes it easy when you want to display them in a list like a cross. For this, we would image, crop the selection, file, export as candle, export. Now for this one, I'm not going to be saving the numbers here because I want to use a font for these. But for all of the rest of these, you can just go through and save all of them in whatever inventory you have. I won't do every one of these for this tutorial, so we're going to skip ahead at this point. This inventory, what I wanted to do is I want to use a custom font. In order to use a custom font for BizHawk, what you want to do, at least for Windows, is you want to get a TTF file that you can usually find on various sites. And if you find one you like, you can get it and then move it into the Windows Fonts folder. For Linux, you're going to have to find the instructions for that. I do not know those instructions, but it would be something similar. For Windows, once you've moved it in here, a good idea is to restart your PC because sometimes it may not find it immediately. To do a test to make sure that you've actually installed it, if you open up a word processing program like WordPad, you can take a look at the existing fonts. And the one that I installed here was named Nintendo NES Font. I will put a link in the description below. And I'll select that here. Make it a little bigger. And that looks like it works. That's not a typical font there. And no changes. And then we will have to test it in BizHawk. To test to see if the font worked, we are going to create a Lua file here. Test font Lua. Drag it into Notepad++. Make a very quick beginning script here for Lua. And we are going to find how to draw text. We're going to go to the Lua console, open this up, help, Lua functions list, and we're going to find GUI.drawText. And we want GUI.drawText because it will allow you to draw stuff to the screen using a font. So this has the syntax here and an example below. We want NES or Nintendo NES Font. So let's replace Arial Narrow with that. We do not need these options, so we can just remove them. Having them like this means that they're optional. Having them in this brackets with nil. And 16 would be the X position and Y. So let's comment this out. that's the actual comment in Lua. The 2 slashes are comments in C#, or the C family. And this should work to display things. We're going to increase the font size to 18. It's a little bit easier to view. All right. Let's see, where is that screen here? We need to drop this Lua file into the Lua console. It's running. That means there's no errors. And we can kind of read this here. Looks like there's some transparency. Yes. So we're going to make that F. I believe it's FF to remove transparency. We're going to double click this to refresh it. And yes, some message. So yes, that is the font. We can also maybe put in some numbers here because the numbers were quite distinctive. Looks like it may be going off the edge of the screen. Save and refresh. Yeah, it looks like the font is a little bit too big for us to see. Let's refresh again. And right, yeah, we can see it is showing the text. It's quite hard to read like this, but once we show it in the inventory screen, it will look quite good. So now that we have both our font installed and all the images cropped and in the folder, we are going to go ahead and try and copy this menu to the side. But to do that, we're going to have to expand the screen. Now, when you're going to expand the screen, what you want to look for is this set game extra padding. Okay. Let's copy this. There's a description here and it says, sets the extra padding added to the EMU service so that you can draw HUD elements in predictable placements. All right. We're going to get this. Now we don't want to pad anything on the left, the top, nor the bottom. So if we just put 150, we'll do a test. Save it. Update the script. And as you can see, we have some extra space over here. However, to find out how much space we actually need to put in the new menu, we need to look at the dimensions of our menu. If we go to Properties, Details, we see it's a 111 pixels in width. So what we're going to do is we're going to use that. But I'll add one extra pixel just for padding. Okay. Refresh that so we have a section on the side. Now in order to place this menu, we're going to use GUI.drawImage. So let's go find that. Draw image. Okay. And now that we have a sample for this, we can see how it has the name of the file. In our case, it's not in the C drive. And if I can get the name here. Okay. Let's see if we can display it on the screen first. Going to update. Just deactivate and reactivate. Okay, so it's appearing here, but it's appearing resized. We don't want that. So we're going to remove these last two options here. Save and refresh. Okay, so we have our empty menu, our inventory menu displayed, but we want to move it over. But in order to move it over, we need to find exactly how much. So to find the width of the section here, we want to find the buffer width. Client.bufferWidth. Okay. Straightforward. So I'm going to copy this draw text here, or I can just do print. I'll do print. Print this value. Okay, so it outputs as 256. 256 is the width of the unexpanded section here. This would be the X value. So for the client buffer width, what I'm going to do for the menu is for the X value, I'm going to put it in here, and I'll add one as extra little buffer there. And we do not need these anymore. And we do not need 32 height actually isn't bad. But let's try 10. Or, you know what? We'll do, I guess, 35. Why not? We'll have it in line with the other one about. About 40? A lot of this is playing around with the values since you can't actually exactly tell. Yeah, 40 looks pretty close. Okay, we'll go with that. So now if we want to, I'm gonna just resize this a little. So first I want to do some font stuff here. We're going to go ahead and try and put the values for the lives, the keys, and the crystals left. Crystals remaining. I'm going to go ahead and copy some values that I had already found. These are the addresses for the lives, the keys, and the crystals left. So I renamed it. So if you read the value at this address, it should be what this is. And to do that, I want to create a function for these values. And they're kind of an assorted mix of values. So I'm going to just call it display other. And we are going to use this draw text here. We do not need this comment on how to do it. Okay. Just doing a little cleanup. Let's see. So now we're gonna have to play around with some of the like spots of where this is. We'll just put 3 here for now. Let's see, X. It's definitely going to be over 256. Let's put 265. The Y value is definitely going to be lower on the screen. And the way the Y values work is the top of the screen is 0, and the value increases as you go down the screen. Seeing how it's about like near the end, we're gonna try maybe 200. See how that works. See if there's any errors. No. And where is it? 3. It's a bit lower, or should be a bit higher. About 170. Okay. A little bit more to the right. And the height is almost perfect. Let's try 168. No, even further. 75. No. So I'm just doing it and changing it in small increments. Okay, that looks pretty good actually. Even at, it's a little big, so we're gonna change the font size to maybe 7. And let's change the color to, what is the color? It's white. Or is it white? So what I can tell is if I go to GIMP, I'm gonna scroll down and use the eyedropper. And yeah, that looks, it's white. Very, very close to white. So you can tell because if you look at the value there. All right. Let's minimize this again. Okay, refresh. It really isn't quite white. It isn't exactly white. So we're going to actually use the hex value. And what was it? Let's do the eyedropper. It's FE, FE, FE. Okay. And the first 2 are for transparency. So FE, FE, FE. Let's see what that looks like. Like no difference at all. Draw text. This was... that was like a border, which we're not using. However, I'm noticing that these values here have like a shadow, but let's get the placement of the other ones right first before we change anything with that. So X will keep, Y will have to change. Let's change it a little. How about 5? And we'll change this one 5 too, or as well. Okay, that's not enough. How about 10? A little bit too much. Closer. This one's a little too further down. All right. One more. I think let's see. All right, it's not exactly perfect, but it's pretty good. The 4 looks a little squished, but the other numbers look fine. So now we're going to try and read the actual value in here. Let's do it with main memory read byte. And we are just going to use the address that we have up here for the lives. And we'll go ahead and put in the other ones as well. Keys. Crystals left. Let's see how this looks. We will refresh. And the little problem here with the lives, I'm guessing it's because the game, I believe, counts 0 as a value for the lives. So I'm gonna subtract 1. And that'll do it. And that'll do it for the section on this here, on like how to adjust it. All right, let's continue with doing the spells. Now what we had done with the spells is we actually captured them as the text, like as a screenshot. So instead of using the font, we're going to go ahead and display images. So I am going to go ahead and create another function. Local function display spells. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and copy the draw image. But we're going to try placing the shield first, which I name shield.png. It's going to be about 266 around. And a little lower than that. So maybe 50. Okay, let's test this. Oh, right, I need to call the function in the main loop. Refresh. That's surprisingly close on the first time. All right. We're going to move it over a little because we have a selected icon. Oh, what was it? 68. How about just 270? So let's try getting the selected icon in here. What did I name it? I think I named it, yeah. Selected icon.png. Close. How about 68? Oh wait, the other way. All right, yeah, that looks like it's good for that placement. Okay. However, we don't always want the shield to display. So we are going to use a condition so that it only draws. Let's see, where is that? Main memory read byte. I'm going to copy this. And we need the values for the spells, the bytes that, they're really just Boolean values that, like true and false values, which I have already found. And here is the one for shield. Okay, just to be explicit, I'll put equal here, equal 1. Okay, that should do that. Let's refresh. Okay. Now if I seek to the beginning of the game, it should not be on, right? Okay. Nice, okay. So while I would recommend maybe putting this stuff in a loop, but for now, we are just going to do all the checks like this, because we're not exactly sure of the placement, and it may be more complicated for, I'm not sure exactly the skill level here of most people watching this, so just going to assume to make it easy. Actually, let's try 10. See how that looks. Shoot. I need to find where he presses the start, because I'm using the 100% that arc insult has here. Just thought this would be good to use. I think I just saw it. Yeah. Okay. Oops. All right. Save. Refresh. Made a mistake. I was increasing the X value. I need to be increasing the Y value because you can see how it's all messed up looking there. Okay. It's not going to be shield, it's going to be jump and life. And since I named all of these very close to each other, it's going to be that. Let's see how that looks. Oops. Jump PNG. I wonder if I made a mistake here naming things. Let's see. Jump is showing as shield. No, that's jump. So shield. Draw image. Just refresh. Oh, it's probably one of these. No? Oh, shield. Okay. What will you be? Actually, I forgot the shortcut to remove that. Oh well. There's a shortcut to remove the comments. I just forgot what it is. So. To comment out multiple lines, it's Control K. All right. Well, this is too close. What should this actually be? 60, the first position looks fine. What about 75? Like 15 each time. 90, 105? 120. Loops would also be good for this. You could just increase it 15 each time, or whatever the spacing is. It's probably going to be close. Oh, oops. It also cuts down on errors like that. Oh, I have an error somewhere? Line 45. What is the error? Attempt to call field draw image. A null value. Well, let's continue. Fire. There's probably something misplaced somewhere, but it won't be that big of a deal. Reflect. Spell. The last one. Thunder. Oh. I think when I pressed something that removed the capitalization there. Because calling functions with different capitalization, I guess, yeah, that's a no-go. Okay. It's closer. Okay, 50 is the first one, 65. Change the X for those two. So 50, 65, 80, 95. $110, $125, $140, $155. Okay. And it looks much better. Everything seems to be in order. However, now we need to do the selected icon. The selected icon will need a little bit more work because what we're going to have to do is have it move right to the one that's selected. I do have the address that shows which one is selected. Now to do that, it's going to require just a little manipulation here. Let's see. So what we want is the first position we want as 50. And when it goes down, we want it to be related to piece selected magic. So I'm going to assume that shield is 1, jump is 2, life is 3, etc. So let's try this. We want it to increment every time by our space, which was 15, which we went through. Which will most likely work, but it may be off by 1, perhaps. We'll take a look. Oh, where'd it go? All right, let's take a look and see what that value is. Oh, right. We want, it's probably way, way, way off the screen since it's actually multiplying it by the value of the address. Yeah, we want the actual value. So we're going to read what this actually is. The value, not the address. 7. Okay. Oh, okay. That did it. So that's most likely right since it's actually the same thing that's being selected in the actual game menu. So to go over again what I did is I have the starting position here on as y, and what I'm doing is I'm multiplying it by the value of what the selected magic is by the spacing, because I did 15 for each of these images. So when it's 7, which is what it is now currently, like you count down. So it's 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. I guess shield would be 0. Okay. So with that, we have the magics displayed. Now let's go ahead and do the treasures. All right, so display, I'm gonna name it display treasures. And go ahead and make a function here. And this will be very similar to what we just did here with the display spells. So I'm going to take that first one here. But we need the values, okay? Which I have already. I'm going to go ahead and copy that in here to the top. And let's see, what should it be? What did I name it? Candle, right. And these are also true false values. So just checking for 1 if it's unlocked. So 272, it's going to be a little bit more than that. We'll try 280. Maybe 290. And it's going to be pretty low. Again, it'll be near where the key is. What did we make? What did we put for the key? $177. All right. We'll be close, probably. All right. Looks pretty good. It's not as far right as the inventory, but you know, I'll go ahead and give myself a little more room. Why not? 285. What does that look like? Maybe a little bit too much. I do want a little room. How about 287? Right in the middle. Okay. Okay. Because while we are recreating the inventory screen, we don't necessarily need to do everything the same and have everything scrunched. Glove. Now this one we're going to change the X. They're probably something like 8 pixels. So, wait, yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's right on it, but the X is or the Y is a little high. Let's do 175. What does that look like? No, 176. Okay, I'm happy with that. And that's probably going to be just 8 every time. So we're just going to copy. Okay, glove. The reason why I chose 8 is as the most likely value is just because it's a power of 2 and NES sizes of objects are very small. Let's see. This will probably be about 3. See, it's another one that you could use loops for, which I'll show a little later. Okay, so we got glove, or candle, glove, and raft. Candle, glove, raft, boots, flute, cross, hammer, and I think I named it big key. And let's see how that looks. Yeah, that is a little scrunched. But it does show all of them in order. So for now, I am satisfied with that. We can keep this. And let's let this game play, actually. Let's take a look and like skip around. See exactly how, if everything in here is looking good. Okay, that's pretty early. I'm gonna put on the frame counter. Okay, so you got the hammer first. skip around on these branches here. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It's looking like he's getting the appropriate stuff here. Okay. Yeah. And the values are changing appropriately. Cool. So I think it's fair to say that this is working pretty well. Of course, you can adjust it. Maybe you don't like the font. Maybe some of these objects could be stretched out a little more. But as far as a basic recreation, this is looking pretty good. Actually, there is one more thing I forgot to do. We are going to put the shadow on the text. And to do that, we're going to have to take a look at the text a little more closely to see exactly how it's done. Okay. So it kind of looks like it's just shifted down and right 1 pixel. And that's what we're going to do. So we are going to go to the text and just go ahead and copy it. And we're going to move the position right 1 and down 1. But we also need the color. We need the correct color, so let's get this blue. We're gonna use the eyedropper and get this hex value. And we're gonna put it right here. And that should work. Let's take a look. That's like a gray. That's not right. Let me zoom in here. I think I got the wrong color. Let's try that one. And refresh. Okay, that looks right, that blue. But it's being drawn over. And the reason why it's being drawn over is because it will draw in the order of the number of lines of code. So this one will draw first, and then if you draw this one, it will draw over what was on the line previously. So we'll refresh. Okay, and now we have a little shadow there. So I'm going to go ahead and do that for the other two. See, it'll be I think I messed up the color here. Or at least the positioning. The one that is a little bit lower and right will need to be drawn first. So 7, 8, 5, 9. And that will be the blue color. Let's see how that works. Okay, yeah, looks kind of good. Let me increase the size here. Oh, this one I think I made it go left. Yeah, I did. All right. So now it looks a bit closer. The 4 is a little looking not too great a little, but yeah. You can see some of the other values, they look fine at that size. And if you don't like the way that font looks, you could even just screen capture the various values here and capture the text, what the text looks like directly in the game. You could poke values into the RAM watch and get all 0 to 9. Because in the game, getting 9 of any of these values might be difficult. And that concludes a basic test of how to recreate an inventory. I hope it was instructive, and thank you for watching.